On the Marco Mobile, we've got two students, both playing charity. One, of course, is 500 miles. Everybody likes it except Aileen Child, who won the silver medal, which is a jambo. The other one is cap in hand, where the proclaimers end up, we can't understand why someone else rules our land. And that's the kind of message we've got to get out. And I'm campaigning in all the working class areas I can get into in Scotland, because we are the majority, the working class. Minority inside the UK, but we're a majority inside Scotland. And if we can mobilise the working class on the 18th, we can't get bait. And for folk like me, if we mobilise the working class from the 19th onwards, we can't get bait for the Scottish Parliament either. And I'm looking forward to the day when we get policies which are suitable for our people. And I've been trying to explain off the Margo Mobile. The Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development know us, they tell us we're the 14th richest country in the world. The UK is 18th. And I'm asking folk, how can it be when we're the 14th richest country outside a little over there's a billboard where they're trying to raise money to alleviate poverty, and the first words are 1 in 5 Scottish children are living in poverty.
That's right.
Now, all of us should be ashamed of that. A Labour voter said to me, and I know I'd said we've got food banks, we've got disabled people having their benefits cut, we've old people in their homes terrified because they've got a spare room. He says that's the Tories. And I said to him, that's true, that's the Tories. We let it happen. So we've got a responsibility now to not let it happen ever again in our country.
Well, that's true.
Labour folk have got to take this on board. I've been a socialist all my life, and I came into politics in 1960 to shift the balance of wealth and power to the working people and their families. And my generation has failed to do so. And the reason we have failed, the Scottish working people are a minority inside the United Kingdom. Inside our own country, we are the majority. And we will be able to shift the balance of wealth and power to the working people and their families, because once we are independent, never again will it matter how England votes. It will no more matter to us than how the folk in Germany and Austria and Australia vote. Nothing to do with them. What will matter is how we vote. And there's folk in the Labour movement say they're going to vote no. And we've got a question for them. If we vote no, next May, you can go down and vote Labour, then you better get on your hands and knees and pray they're doing the same dude there, because if they're not, you've delivered us into the hands of a Tory government again, and you've delivered the poor and the unemployed and the disabled into the hands of Boris Johnson and Farage. Now there's a future for a Labour voter to vote for.
Now I'm sorry for interrupting here. Does everybody here wonder why the English government want to keep Scotland?
Oh, it's quite simple.
Because they've got
It's
too
quite
much to lose.
And by the way, let me give you a piece of information. Chick Brodie, the MSP, should get the first medal struck in an independent Scotland. Chick dug into the National Archives and discovered that there's oil and gas in the Clyde off the west of Scotland.
Yes.
They kept it secret. We didn't ken. Now, I was an MP in 1970s, me and Davy Lambie. But we didn't have any freedom of information in those days, and we came up against a blank wall with the government. Chicks discovered all the scientific evidence of oil and gas in the Clyde and the Solway. He then dug up a letter which is extraordinary. It referred to a letter from a guy called Roger Mansell, whom we've never heard of, elected by nobody. But in his letter, and I'll give you the date, the 17th of September 1981. He wrote to the Department of Energy from the Ministry of Defence, forbidding any work on the oil and gas in the Clyde, and that letter says, under no circumstances can we allow oil rigs in the Clyde, because the nuclear submarine couldn't navigate safely up those waters. 1981. Offshore is a brand new industry. Onshore, Margaret Thatcher was destroying the Scottish industrial base. And any Labour Party member presented with those facts, who's voting no, well, they'll have to do operations for him at the Edinburgh Royal, given his condition. We can make a different country in Scotland. 14th richest. We don't want any children living in poverty, because it's not just the material circumstances, it destroys their chance in education. And last week somebody said to me, suppose there's a child, poverty-stricken family in a deprived area, and suppose that child basically has the potential intellectual capacity to produce a cure for a particular cancer. They will never know it, and we will never get the benefit from it either. This is a liberation contest we're in at the present time, and I am very proud of the fact that we're campaigning for a yes vote, and we're engaged in the greatest civic movement Scotland has ever seen, and we're engaged in the greatest self-education movement Scotland has ever seen. And the one thing I'm happy about the no side, they think they've won, and they're in for one hell of a Friday.
You're right.
Past 10. Now, it's been a great pleasure. I'm about to cut this blue ribbon, but for me, the colour of the sun. I declare the yes open.
Well done, John.